All right, welcome to episode 1 of the GTT podcast. And today's guest is Alex the God Simon. Alex is a former powerlifter who in only his second competition ever broke the all-time Australian record. For those of you who aren't powerlifting fans or followers, powerlifting is the sport of 3 lifts, so the squat, the bench press and the deadlift. Now, to give you a little bit of an analogy or a parallel to just how great his achievement was, Alex totaled 1,077.5 kilograms. That was a 435 kilo squat, 260 kilo bench press, and a 382.5 deadlift. Now, if you're not a powerlifting fan, to give you an idea of how great this was, it'd be the equivalent to taking up track and field and running a sub 10 second 100 in only your first or second meet. It'd be like playing for Australia in cricket and scoring a century in each innings on your test debut. It'd be like running a sub 2-hour marathon in your first marathon. It really is an achievement which was just something else. His total, as well as being the Australian all-time record, is a top 10 ever record. Now, despite achieving all this at only the age of 24, Alex has walked away from the sport to pursue his first dream, which is to become the UFC Heavyweight Champion. This episode is very heavy along the theme of mixed martial arts and powerlifting. So, look, if these sports are not your cup of tea, then this one might not be for you. But if you are interested in the strength sports and martial arts, mixed martial arts, then there's some great stuff in here and some really interesting dialogue. Either way, there is some great insights in here into what it takes to be successful, how important good coaches and mentors are, how important big goals are, and how important it is to really stay focused, work hard, and go to the nth degree on getting what you want. All right, guys, I hope you enjoy the chat here today. It was an absolute pleasure talking to Alex, and he is a truly beautiful human. He's he's got a great energy about him, and he's a really nice guy. So I really enjoyed this chat, and I hope you do too. All right, welcome to episode 1 of the GTT podcast, and today I have Alex Simon, aka the God, joining me. Alex is a former powerlifter and is currently on the road or chasing a dream of becoming the UFC Heavyweight Champion. Alex, in a very short career in powerlifting, has set the all-time Australian record. Yep. What was the number?
1,077.5 kilo total.
177.5 total. Now that was a 435 squat?
Yeah, 435 squat, 260 bench, 382.5 deadlift.
Now this was all in Alex's second competition only. So welcome to the show, Alex.
Thanks
for joining me. Now, I was saying a little bit earlier, my motivation for having Alex on the first episode of the show here today was a selfish one. Obviously, a lot of the listeners or a lot of the people who are going to listen to this show will know who Alex is. I've got a personal interest in powerlifting and all things strength related, but also very much in MMA as well. So I train do a lot of strength and conditioning with MMA fighters, and Alex's story I find particularly interesting because he's gone from the top of his sport in powerlifting, setting an Australian all-time record, to walking away from that overnight and pursuing a totally new dream now of becoming a world champion in mixed martial arts. So, mate, let's talk a little bit about how that transition's been so far and what you're focusing on, what's changed with your training.
Yeah. So, pretty much my goal since I was young, since I was about 13, when I started getting into a bit of boxing just for fitness for footy, my goal was always to be a fighter. That was my big dream. I used to watch guys like Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, famous heavyweight boxers, and I just always thought that where these guys are at this level, there's nothing that can compare to that. That's always the pinnacle of any sport. That's what I always idolized, and so I've always wanted to pursue it, and I've never given it my all. I've always just kind of done it half-half, I was playing rugby when I was younger, so I didn't get into it when I was too young. Then kind of just got lazy when I was, late teens. Then started doing a bit of strength training, got really good at it easily, so I got excited by that, powerlifting, so I followed that for a while. And then a couple of months ago, I was just thinking about like where I am. Like I was 24, I just turned 25 last week. So I was 24, still kind of not headed where I wanted to be, I've succeeded in strength training and that, but that was never my real passion. So I always just, thought after this comp, Big Dogs in Melbourne, if I get the Australian title, which was my goal when I started weights, if I can get that to my name, then I'm gonna, do what I wanted to do since I was a kid and pursue the fighting. So that's what I wanted to do.
Mate, it's pretty amazing. I've spoken to a few people in the know in the world of powerlifting, and they mentioned that they believe you could have become the strongest human ever. So it's pretty amazing to have achieved what you did in such a short amount of time. I think your first comp, you totaled the third highest total in Australian history. Is that right? Second highest.
Yeah.
Second highest at the time. So you hold the first and the third highest totals now. Is that right? Well, either way, you've probably got two of the top
first
five.
comp last year, I totaled 985.
Yeah.
And that was, at the time, that was the second biggest total ever in Australia. I'm not sure what second place is now, but now I just know I got the first. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Look, I think it's fair to say that a lot of the success of the UFC over the last 10 years can be traced back to that very primal competitive nature that man has.
Yeah.
And you can take all these different sports, you can look at football, you can look at rugby, whatever it may be, the essence of the competition in those sports is one man beating another man, or one woman beating another woman, as it is now. So the beauty of MMA is that we're taking all the rules and all the other shit out of it, and it's just a fight, it's a contest.
That's it. One-on-one, no one. That's what I like about no one to count on. When I used to play rugby, you'd have a big game, do a big run, bowl over 3 people, and then your team will let you down. You're just like, But I just like the one-on-one aspect. There's no excuses,
Yeah.
It's just you versus him. Go in, and if you lose, he was better than you. That's it. There's no politics. There's no what ifs. Fight and see what happens.
That's it. And we're just talking off camera too. I mean, from a competitive aspect, mixed martial arts is that pure essence of competition, but as a strength and conditioning coach, it's something that I was drawn to after working with athletes in many sports. I'd worked in Australian rules football and a whole heap of other stuff, but what really interested me about MMA was, I think as far as an all-round fitness profile goes, MMA fighters have got to be the fittest athletes on earth.
I agree.
People talk about, triathletes and different sports, but what they don't have to do is develop competing biomotor ability. So you've got to be strong, but you've also, if you get to a title level, you're going to have to be able to fight for 25 minutes. As well as exhibit phenomenal skills and deal with being punched in the face. So it's a pretty cool sport to do strength and conditioning for.
Very cool, yeah. Big challenge and big rewards if you get it right.
That's right. What does your training look like so far since you finished up with powerlifting and you've moved into this world?
So far, I've completely stopped all weight training, as my main objective now is to just drop the body weight. So since my last comp in October, I weighed in at 178 kilos, and now I'm 156. So I'm 22 kilos down it was October 15th, so under 2.5 months. So that's going well. Just my goal's over this year to gradually keep dropping the weight until I want to walk around comfortable at about 130 kilos, and then hopefully in 2019, if I can make the UFC, I can do the 10 kilo weight cut in training to make the 120 limit. And so the training's just completely changed. No more weights, watching my diet now, and now it's just fight specific training. Cardio every day, sweating, boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and just a bit of sparring, not too hard yet. And that's it, just fight training, sweating non-stop, watching the diet, cleaning it up, and just, that's it.
How are you going the demands of learning new skills, so learning wrestling.
It's
and
good,
jiu-jitsu.
yeah. It's good. I enjoy it because I'm a fan. So, and I like to be a student of the game. So I enjoy it. Sometimes it's a bit frustrating when you want to get something right now, you know. But I'm a pretty quick learner. So, you know, show me something once, I'll do it a few times, then I kind of get the habit of it. So no, I enjoy it. It's fun.
Have you got big bodies to wrestle with? I'd
Yeah.
imagine that'd be an issue if you don't.
Yeah, no, we got some big guys. One of the boys here, Big Rich, is bigger than me.
Yeah, right.
So he likes to have a roll. So no, it's good.
Cool.
No issue with that.
Cool. And as far as your training day goes, how many sessions a day is it?
At the moment, I'm just doing 1 to 2 because I'm just kind of in that still, you know, transition period where my body's still kind of got a few aches and that from the big weights and holding all that weight all year. So I was just kind of cruising into this period, bit of a, you know, breakthrough from the weights to just kind of dropping away, getting used to walking around leaner, getting used to the training. But then start of January, I've already got my schedule worked out, and that's when it'll be, you know, minimum 2 sessions a day, 6 days a week. 3 days a week will be 3 sessions. So that'll be very full on.
Yeah. And as far as the plan goes with fighting, is it going to be some kickboxing first? I mean, I probably should have mentioned too, you've got a 4-0 kickboxing record, is that right?
3 kickboxing. No, sorry. 2 kickboxing, 2 MMA.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Is your plan to go straight into MMA, or are you going to compete in
No,
kickboxing
straight to
first?
MMA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Local scene.
Yeah, I've got a few options now, which haven't been confirmed, but I'm pretty sure it won't be local scene. So
Okay.
that'll be good. Hopefully start of the year I can confirm that.
Yep.
But that'll be a pretty big show straight away. So I'll be excited for that. But yeah, MMA all day.
Nice. There's been I suppose, a real outbreak of quality fighters in Australia too. There's quite a few bigger lads in the UFC now with Tui and Tyson Pedro and some of these guys as well. So obviously Mark Hunt is still around, and there's probably some good experience for you to tap into, and good training partners and guys that you can get some good miles in to prepare you for that top level.
Yeah, so those guys are all, you know, my age, they're killing it. So that's just motivation for me. I'm friends with both Ty and Tyson, you know, trained with them both before, and just to see what they're doing already on the world stage, you know, it's very motivating.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah. I was
that's
at
exciting times. Yeah.
I was at the UFC card in Sydney where Ty knocked the guy out with the flying knee.
Yeah, I was there too.
Crazy.
It was good.
Crazy.
Good debut.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's he got in Perth? Who's he fighting?
I saw the photo. I'm not sure who he is, to be honest, but I'm pretty sure we're in the same way.
Yeah.
First round.
Man,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how athletic he is for a big guy.
Oh, he's a machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He's an
athletic.
athlete. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
he was playing first grade footy at 17.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
he's an athlete.
You see a lot of this. I mean, obviously you've come from powerlifting over to MMA, and you get a lot of guys who are in the States who have come from football, American football, and we're starting to see quite a few guys here with rugby league backgrounds or whatever it is. Apart from the obvious transfer of talent, do you think that there's a lot of stuff you can learn from being successful in those sports? And if so, what is it from powerlifting that you think you'll take over and will be beneficial for you in how you go about it?
I think that if you're, you know, at the top level in any sport, you've already got that, you know, mentality of what it takes to succeed. So you're already mentally tough. You know, you're already willing to do the work, to sacrifice whatever it takes to get to where you want to be in that sport. If you've already come from that, you know, it's the same thing. It's just a different set of skills, but you've already got that headspace that this is what it takes to be at that level. So this is what I'm going to do to get there. And now there's nothing to it, but just do it. So I think it's, you know, if you're successful from another sport and you still have that hunger and drive to make it another sport, you know, if you're an athlete, it should be a pretty smooth transition.
It's the same thing, but it's a different thing.
Oh, it's completely different.
Yeah,
but
but
it's the same thing.
It's the same stuff.
You got to be
same
tough in the
qualities.
head.
Yeah.
You got to train your ass off. You know, you can't muck around outside of training. You know, you got to get your sleep. You can't be partying. You just got to be a full-time athlete.
Yeah.
And commit to it. and I'm pretty sure you'll get there.
Yeah, I mean, one of
Hope
the big things that I want from this podcast is for it not just to be a fitness podcast. I think, fitness, health and fitness is interesting to a point, but like I said on my video yesterday where I was talking about what this podcast is going to be about, for general people who are looking to improve their health and fitness and get in better shape, what they can really learn from guys like Alex is that it's not about trying, it's about committing, and also having big goals. I mean, when you have big goals and you expect nothing less of yourself, room for mediocrity is far less. So if we look at what Alex has stated and what he's put out there, he said straight up, he's going to be the heavyweight champion of the world in the toughest sport there is. And there's been a few other examples over the past few years. Conor McGregor was saying it when he was still fighting in Ireland.
Yeah.
He said, I'm going to be the UFC featherweight champion and lightweight champion.
That's it, and he did it.
Yeah, if you have and he talks about having the courage to say what it is you're going to do. This is something that I've really tried to impress upon people at a general population level. If they come to me and they say, I just want to lose a little bit of weight, I'll say, fuck that. What do you really want to do?
That's right.
Because if you just want to lose a little bit of weight, you probably will lose just a little bit of weight, but then you'll put it all back on. So
That's it. If you put your goals out there, there's no excuses if you don't do them.
Yeah.
There's not, too tired today, big day at work. There's just, this is what I want to do, now I'm going to go do it. And if I don't do it, it's only because of me.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, that environment that you've come from in powerlifting too, and training at a base gym with Sebastian Oreb, who himself has an amazing track record of getting results with other people.
Oh yeah.
You get an appreciation for that environment, for the expectation, for
That's
being
it,
around
yeah.
other people who are doing great things as well.
It was awesome, just, full on professional lifting gym, and in my opinion, it's the best one, definitely in Australia. And it's just, it was my first time being somewhere where it's full on professional.
Yeah.
And just, you give 100% in your workouts, you do everything the right way. It's just that good mentality that's, the whole issue, everything's professional there, no matter what they do. The warm up, the workout, just everything is done right. So it's good that I've experienced that, learned my lifting there. So I still have that kind of mentality. From now for what I want to do in fighting, everything's got to be done professionally. No mucking around. This is my workout, this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm going to do it, go do it.
Yeah, I was watching Sebastian's Insta story last week, and he did an Insta story of him working up to I think it was a set of 5 on his back squat for 290 or something around that mark, and he videoed.
It was 300.
Was it 300?
I
Well,
think
he
it's
videoed every rep.
Yeah.
And what really struck me was the level of deliberate practice.
Yeah.
Even when he had 20 kilos each side of the bar.
Yeah.
And it was just doing everything perfect, every single rep.
That's it.
And there's a lot we can learn from that. Whether whether you want to become a power lifter or a weightlifter or better at football, or whether you want to lose weight or whatever it is, it's going into the gym with that intent.
That's it.
And
Practice
really
makes
cool.
perfect.
Yeah, perfect practice makes perfect.
That's it.
But yeah, that was really something to watch. And even after 15 years in the industry myself, I still learn stuff from just watching other professionals and watching the way they do it. Powerlifting in particular, I think, has so much to teach to the world of fitness.
Yeah.
How did you get into powerlifting? How did that all start?
So I was always like the biggest, strongest kid around. I was a footy player, and then I'd occasionally just go to the gym with some of my footy mates. They just said, let's go do a bit of weights. I'd say, oh yeah, sweet, whatever. And it was like my first time at the gym. I was 17, and I benched like 180 for like 5 or something.
Yep.
I don't remember. And then my friend just passed me like the 50 kilo dumbbells. He's just like, do this. I'm like, how many? He just goes, do 20. I did like 20.
Yeah.
Just put them down. Oh yeah, sweet. And they were like, that's fucked. Excuse my language. And so that was my first experience. That was the first time I went to a gym. And then a friend of mine was actually where Sebastian used to work. A friend of mine worked under him, And he just said, come to the gym one day. These guys, they were practicing strength training. I didn't know what it was, you know. I just used to go do a bit of bench, biceps, you know. And he said, come down one day. I said, yeah, sweet. I remember the first time I met him, it was mad. He did, we did deadlifts. It was my first time trying them. And I was training with my mate, and there was 200 on the bar. And I went in like, you know, real soft and just kind of tired and just whatever. And I did like really slow 1 rep of 200, and he's like, that's all right. And I'm like, oh, that was heavy, you know, oh, back sore, you know, that was heavy as. And then Baz came and just told me what to do, first time meeting him.
Yeah.
And then he goes, try it again. And then he told me what to do, started raising his voice a bit, and I got like 8 reps or something, the second set, and I'm like, this is mad.
Yeah.
And that's when I was hooked. And then I kind of went back to playing footy, and they told me I had to drop some weight, so I stopped training. Then I saw him at a competition my friend was at a couple of years ago, and he said he's just about to open base gym, and he said come down, and I came down, and I was there every day for like 3 years.
Wow. What do you think it is about Bass that makes him such an effective coach? What is it that he does better than anyone else?
He's just passionate about what he does, you know. He just loves it. He's a fanatic. He just lives and breathes it in every sense of the word, you know. He just loves it, loves everything about it. And, you know, if he's got someone who's strong, he'll just love to bring out their potential.
The levels of strength that I've seen people achieve training have just been phenomenal.
Oh,
I mean,
it's the best. Yeah.
Hattie Boydell squatting 140 at 55 kilos body weight, and some of the girls there just lifting weights that are outrageous.
Yeah,
stronger than 90% of the guys you'll find in most gyms.
His sister-in-law, Diana, like 50 kilos, deadlifting 160.
Yeah. And it's that whole thing that comes with what's expected of you and what you expect of yourself. I mean, for those who know me well and know my brother Alex, you'll know his story. He was the barista at Base Gym, and he just started squatting one day. He'd never trained in his life, and I think a year later he squatted 280.
Yeah,
because he saw all these guys squatting 300.
Amazing. Yeah. He just thought it was normal, and he's like, oh yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah. But I mean, that was partly a product of his aptitude for squatting. He's made for it, but also just seeing what everyone else is doing and thinking that's what you had to do.
That's it, yeah.
So,
this is the normal standard. Okay, I'll match that.
Yeah. But look, powerlifting has, you know, for mine, it has so much transfer to general populations. If you can teach people to squat well, how to press well, and how to deadlift well, it's going to go a long way to stopping a lot of those things which really make us age, which is loss of muscle, loss of strength.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best thing, you know, muscles, bone health, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, one of the most underused forms of training to the general public.
Yeah, absolutely. We had this really funny sort of time in the fitness industry, sort of through the early 2000s, where it was everything but the big lifts. You know, despite all the literature saying focus on multi-joint movements and focus on squats and cleans and presses and all this sort of stuff, there became this zealotry for functional training, which was really born from physios, I think, at a certain time, or therapist-based trainers getting too much of a foothold in the education space. And there's certainly been a very positive shift away from that, and while that stuff has its place, for the average person, if they can get really good with the technique of squatting and really good with the technique of the deadlifting, like you talked about when you went from 1 rep to 8 reps at 200, you see much better outcomes. People get a lot stronger, they get a lot better results, and you know, those increases in strength and lean muscle have so many positive flow-on effects.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So that's been probably one of the bigger influences or bigger changes I've seen over the last sort of 5 to 6 years in the fitness industry, for sure.
See, I wasn't there before. I was just been into it the last couple of years. So when I was getting into it, everyone just wanted to get strong. Yeah. So that's all I've known.
Well, I actually remember when I was working at Fitness First in the city, I remember hearing about these two brothers who were working over at North Sydney. It was obviously Bass and his brother Cameron, and heard about these guys who were doing good stuff in powerlifting over there and getting a lot of people strong. So it was kind of kind of the turning point, I think, and it really went from there. But there's certainly been a renaissance in the barbell lifts, and there's a lot of good guys teaching it now. Obviously, Bass has his courses, and a guy that I've been the beneficiary of learning a lot from is Mark Buckley.
Yep.
Having done a lot with him, or learned a lot from him, and then all the other people off the back of that. But at GTT, we have a really good team training program where 3 days a week it's strength work, and then 3 days a week it's conditioning work.
Nice,
So,
beautiful.
yeah, working on those basics. So that's cool, mate. Tell me, you've obviously had a great coach here in the powerlifting world. Who are you working with now in MMA? Who are the guys that are in charge of your destiny and coaching you towards the big time?
So my main trainer is a guy called Tahuna. He's the brother of UFC fighter Jamie Tahuna, who was the first Aussie to fight in UFC.
Was he the first?
Pretty sure.
Yeah, right. Cool.
I could be wrong on that. I'm pretty sure.
Well, he was definitely first couple. I'm trying to think who the others would have been. Maybe Elvis Sinasek was pretty early on.
Sorry, I think they're right. Sorry. He was on the first card, I'm sure, in Australia.
Yeah, he was.
2010.
Yep,
I think
went to
Elvis
that one.
was behind him.
I'm trying to think who he fought on that card. Can't remember.
Igor Pokrajic, whatever his name is.
Yeah,
He stopped him in the third round.
that's right. And
Yeah.
the second one, he fought Gustafsson, I think, and was lighting him up early on.
I don't know what his second was. I know he fought him and he was doing well.
Yeah, okay, so working with Tahuna then.
Yeah, so Tama's my main guy, and so that's all, Jamie's old fight crew. Jamie, Tama, his brother, and their best mate Stevie as well, who's really good at the whole MMA game overall.
What's his last name?
Ashby, Stevie
Okay.
Ashby, yeah.
Right.
So they were all a team together, and now that's my team. And then I've just started doing, since I've transitioned to full time, I've just started working with a few other guys. A friend of mine, Jabert, kickboxer, he's helping me out with some, skill stuff. And we're doing a bit of fight specific things with a guy called Rodney Williams, boxing trainer, who's really, really good, and I'm learning a lot of things off him straight away. And working the kicks with our ex-Olympian Taekwondo called Peter Bass.
Cool.
And then there's upstairs here, there's a guy called Bella who's helping me out with my jiu-jitsu, and that's pretty much my career.
So another good little tip there on whatever you want to be successful in. You got to find the right mentors.
That's it.
Learning from people who know the path is going to save you a lot of time. It's certainly something I've benefited from myself, and something I do with the MMA guys I train. I say, well, why don't you go and work with this guy? Or Rob Wilkinson's working at the moment with Luke Jackson, who's an Olympic boxer and an unbeaten pro, and just looking to always improve and always get better.
That's what I think. If you want to get good, you got to train and be with the best guys.
Yeah.
The only reason I started training with like Tama and Jamie and that is because I saw them on TV. They were the guys killing it when I was getting into it.
Yeah.
So they didn't live like, there's probably 50 gyms in between my house and where they were in Penrith, but I chose to travel an hour to go to Penrith, like, a couple of times a week, because I thought those are the best guys, they're who I want to learn off.
Yeah. I remember watching Jamie for years. I thought he was phenomenal. He was phenomenal. And certainly a pioneer in MMA in Australia.
Massive, yeah. Massive.
What is there, about 20 Aussies in the UFC now?
I don't think it's that many.
Okay.
Maybe under 10?
Yeah, right.
Maybe 10? Just
Okay.
under, not sure.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking it was a few more than that. Yeah, very cool. The big thing, obviously, is losing that weight so you can make the 120 limit.
Yeah.
Are you working with anyone on that, or have you?
Yeah, so actually, you would know him, Stan Efferding, from the States.
Yeah.
So he reached out to me, he just said he was a fan of my lifting, and he offered to help me with the weight cut. So he's, someone I've also looked up to for a while. Works with a lot of the best guys, does the diet for, World's Strongest Men, Brian Shaw, Thor Bjornsson, works with, I forgot his name, I think it's Greg Lockhart, who does all the UFC diets. He works with him, so they do like McGregor,
Wow.
John Jones, Mike Dolce, all those guys.
Yep.
So he's like works with all them. So he's going to be looking after my diet side of things.
Yeah.
So hopefully.
Once again, you're in good hands there. Yeah, it's I think the sheer amount of work or the sheer volume of training you do in MMA compared to powerlifting, or the nature of the training you're going to do, would take care of a lot of that.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what changes over the next couple of years with weight cutting as well. There's certainly that move towards a percentage-based system where if you've got to weigh in at 120 on the day of the fight, you can only be X% heavier a week out.
Yeah.
But the 120 weight limit for mine seems unrealistic. There's just so many men who are so much bigger than that now. I just don't know why the UFC don't have a 120 to 140 bracket.
I think they should do too.
Yeah.
Until that day.
Yeah.
We'll get skinny.
I mean, if you look at light heavyweight,
Yeah.
up to heavyweight, it's a big bracket.
Big gap. Yeah.
But you got to do what you got to do.
That's it.
Yeah. All right, mate. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts today and for joining us. It was, like I said, I sat down the other day and I wrote out about 50 names of people that I'd like to have on the podcast, and yours jumped out at me as a great first guest, just based on what you've done and what you're looking to do.
Cool.
And giving people insights into, setting big goals, working with the best people in the fields that you want to improve on, and holding yourself to a really high standard on what it is you want to achieve in your life. So good luck with it all, and thank you so much
for
coming on the shops.
Much appreciated. Thank you. Thanks.
All right, guys, so there you have it. There was my talk for episode 1 with Alex Simon. And look, I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed talking to Alex. One thing that never ceases to impress me about impressive humans is how much they focus on goals. Now, goals are just such a huge part of success, and not only goals, but having big goals that you focus on daily. So that's going to be a continuing theme throughout the podcast episodes, I'm sure. Next episode, I'll be announcing that in the next week or so, and it will certainly be a change of pace. We'll be going from brawn to brain. I look forward to that one. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think you'll all get a lot out of it. So look out for that one. I'll be making the announcement for that one in the next couple of days. In the meantime, be awesome, enjoy your life, and make sure you go after what you want to get.